Welcome to Oahu MPO's first episode of Make It Make Sense, Transportation Edition, where I'm going to tell you the story of the Oahu Regional Transportation Plan 2050. Transportation affects us all, so it's super important we understand the processes that go into planning for such a big system. Let's get into it. Y'all remember when we asked for input on our goals and objectives? Okay, well, we heard you say active and public transportation was your number one priority, with safety as a close second. This makes sense as we did a lot of work to educate the community about how transit-focused street design inherently goes hand in hand with safety. We also looked at ridership trends across the island. We have seen a major uptick in e-bike registration. Combined with this, the second segment of Skyline has opened, encouraging an increase in ridership. Not to mention the new W line, which has enhanced timely access to the airport. People are showing interest in opting out of cars for a more cost-effective and time-saving mode of transit. With your feedback in mind, we then considered some pretty big things happening for Oahu and Hawaii more broadly. Firstly, we considered the alarming rise in fatal crashes and DTS's Vision Zero action plan. Secondly, the Navahine settlement, which requires HDOT to prioritize and implement a busload of bicycle and pedestrian projects in efforts to decarbonize the transportation system by 2045. Thirdly, we used new tools to model scenarios. We thought about, what if we just continue down this path? Or what if we focus more on bus rapid transit? What would it look like if we honed in on rail extensions? We fed the model land use data, including population, employment, and current transportation networks. Based on the modeling results and community priorities, these were the project types that would best help us achieve the vision, goals, and objectives of the ORTP 2050. With all that in mind, we huddled up and reviewed the project evaluation criteria. We moved things around, added points to criteria that aligned with the priority of the community, and shared our updated criteria with our partners. Some projects didn't score so well. Think widening projects with no active transportation components. For now, these are proposed to be on the illustrative list of the plan, or basically put on hold, because our priorities as a community have changed. First, we have a lot of work to do just maintaining the system we already rely on. We need to reinvest in our existing infrastructure and finish projects that are already funded through the Transportation Improvement Program. So at least for now, expanding the island with miles and miles of new roads isn't where our focus is. When we put out our culvert projects, we received 10 new projects and programs that clearly took into account what we would be prioritizing for federal funds. While this was super exciting for us, we did hear concerns about lack of detail in the project descriptions, especially for programs and grouped projects, and rightfully so. We want to know locations and types of improvements as well. So we went back to our partners and said, hey, can you give us more detail and resubmit? We emphasized that we would be awarding more points for projects that had the details we were looking for. And guess what? We got more specifics. Yay! We then went back and rescored the proposed projects and programs. So now we have a final list of prioritized proposed projects that reflects the community's priorities. Just a reminder, our priorities are public and active transportation that is safe and helps us to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. All right, so what can you expect now? Well, our draft long-range plan is now out for comments, and if it is approved in March 2026 by our policy board, you can expect more federal funds to be allocated to public and active transportation projects that promote safety, along with projects that make our system more resilient, better maintained, and more accessible to all. Keep in mind, expanding bikeways, sidewalks, and transit options reduces traffic congestion and creates safer streets by design. Streets where fewer crashes happen and more people can move freely, while cutting emissions and protecting the future of our children and ourselves. I don't know if you know this, but traffic crashes on Oahu are happening so often that they've become normalized, and that's a problem. When serious injuries and deaths are treated as routine, it's a sign we need to slow down, redesign our streets, and prioritize the safety of our ohana. Phew, that was a lot. How did we do? Can you see the connections made? Do you notice how we listened? And most importantly, do you feel heard? You can certainly provide feedback on the project list, but perhaps more importantly and impactfully, we want your help to evaluate our process, our choices as transportation professionals, and let your feedback guide what we do for the next update of the long-range plan. Your voice matters. I hope you can see that. Thanks for listening.